I'm going to teach you here how to install R and RStudio and a very quick overview of what it looks like. Now, there's tons of videos out there about how to do this. So why I'm making this video, I honestly don't know, but I am, and you're here. So great. Let's start. I'm going to go to my Firefox. So we need two different things. First, we need R, and then we need RStudio. Now, R is a base programming language. And RStudio is an interface around it. So you can use R, and we're going to see it looks very much like a Word document. And somehow it does magic, and whatever you put into it, it'll actually run that program. But then the RStudio is going to be more of an interactive interface. Now, if you're new to programming, it's not going to be flashy like you might be used to with other programs, but it's going to be a lot more simple to use, and it's going to organize your information better. So I am on a Mac, but more or less same thing. So we're going to go to R. So we're downloading R here, and of course we could go to download R down there, but whatever works. We're going to go to download R up here. So really I should have just hit the other one. Now these are just mirrors, different places you can download it from. So I'm in Canada, and I'm going to download it from the SFU database. But really, I could download it from anywhere, and it will be fine with internet these days. But I don't know why. I'm going to do Simon Fraser. I'm going to download for Mac. It's very simple. Again, I don't know why I'm making this video. It's that simple that you could do it yourself. But then you do get things like this huge, I don't know, package of information with really, I just want to see a download now button. Why is this so difficult? I'm going to go to the latest release here, and I'm going to download this package. I'm going to just open it, but whatever floats your boat. We're going to download. I'm going to wait. You're going to have to wait with me. Cool, and it opens. We can continue. Yeah. Yes, I have read all these things. You should too, but you won't. Well, most of you won't. Some of you might. Yep, I'm going to install. Oh, my password. Oh, not very good password. And we're good to go. The one great thing about R and RStudio is it's going to be really quick. So this is going really quick. I'm going to just actually wait here just to show you the whole process, but I could already start moving on to downloading RStudio. But first, let's talk about R, and let's look at R, and then I'll jump to RStudio. Most of what you're going to do is in RStudio, unless if you're kind of a more traditional programmer and you like the R kind of interface. So we're done. Great. So I'm going to just look up R right now, and I'm going to find it right there. I'm going to open it. So like I said, it just kind of looks like a Word document, and for some magical reason, it can run code for you. I'm not going to really tell you about this because, to be honest with you, I don't really know. I've never actually used RBase myself because I really rely on RStudio. But it could do the same type of stuff, but really it doesn't look very attractive. And honestly, if you're not a programmer, RStudio is not going to look too attractive either, but that's okay. So that's R. What RStudio does is it uses this program behind it. So this is the actual language program, and RStudio is just a interface on top of that so we can use this program easier. Don't save. So let's go back to Google, and let's go to RStudio now. So I'm going to go to RStudio, and we're going to download this, and we're going to really open this. So we want to download, and we're going to choose our version here. So of course, I'm not going to pay for it. You could pay for it if you like, but I don't know. I don't really know the reason for paying for it, but I'm going to go free, and I'm going to just get the desktop version, not the server version. I'm going to download. Cool, it's going to tell me what I'm doing here. Download RStudio for Mac. Of course, if you're not on Mac, it'll be a little bit different, and I'm just going to open that. Again, it's not going to take very long to download or install, and you're going to have to wait with me for it. But you do see down here there are different versions and different, I guess, OS operating systems that you can do it for. So not different versions, but there are different versions around somewhere on this website. And there we go, it's downloaded, and we are opening it. Very interesting stuff, I know, but sometimes we've got to do the boring stuff. So with Macs, you drag it into the application, but it doesn't really matter. Let's look up what that looks like. So if I go Rstudio now, there's my Rstudio. So I already have this installed, so you won't see some of these messages here, but that's fine. So this here looks a lot like R that we had not too long ago. And just to show you, they look very similar to the left and to the right. Great. So that's pretty much the R here, but then we see lots of other things. We have this environment and we have this panel down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new script. So you can't really see up here, but File, New R script. So this gives us an additional thing here. Now, I'm not going to go into in-depth programming at this point, or what programming even is, but I could do, let's say, simple math here. So 1 plus 1. And you see that down at the bottom here. That equals 2. 4 plus 6. 10, 4 times 6, 24, and so forth. So this is where some of the action happens, but this script is basically a way to do what we just did, but then save it. So everything I write down here is just real time. It's like a calculator. You use the calculator, and then you use it again, and then everything's gone. But if I do it up here, I could go 1 plus 1, and then nothing happens, right? So I hit enter, nothing happens, and that's fine. I go 2 plus 5, nothing happens. But then if I hit run, or source I should say, we'll talk a bit about more what that means later, but then it'll run those. But then you could save all of it by going from file to file save as, and then you could save this script to reopen it later. Now another thing that programming has is variables. I'm not going to get too far into this, and we're going to really talk about it, but I'm just trying to show you each panel here and how they might help. So a variable is really just storing a piece of information. So let's say I have multiple boxes. I'm going to label my first box box underscore 1. And you see that down here. Okay? I'm going to say what's in that box. It's going to be the number 1. Okay? Now what I see over here is box 1 has a value of 1. Now I could say box 2 has a value of, let's say 20, just to change it up a bit. So there's box 1 and box 2. Now these are variables. So the variable name here is box 1 and box 2, and the variable value is 1 and then 20. Now what I could do, and why it's useful to have these, is I could go box 1 plus box 2. Suddenly it takes the value from box 1, and then adds it to the value of box 2. You can also have more elaborate things like box n equals c. I'm not going to really tell you what this means, but if I do that, now box n has 5 different numbers in it, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. So I'm talking a lot about math here because it's just the easiest way to really get you involved with this stuff. But really the idea is that we can use these variables to store lots of different information. And what we see is that that information is here. So if I wanted to save that kind of stuff, I could just bring it up to my script. I'm going to do a little bit of kind of poor programming right now, so ignore what I do and do what I say. And so now if I save this and then run this, it'll give me the 21 and it'll save all those variables for me. Now again, it's not too big of a deal if you're not following what the variables mean and stuff at this point, but the point is that here is our script, and that is something we could save and then bring back later and then work on it again. So some of your scripts are going to be really long and you can't just sit down and do it all at once. Or other ones you want to reuse over and over and over again, and then with scripts you can do that. Everything you do down here is temporary. It's not going to be saved anywhere. If you're trying to think of something, so if you're trying to say, well, what's 256, divided by 8, that's 32. If you're just trying to get a little bit of information, or you could even say, what is box N? Well, box N is 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. So you can do stuff down there to just kind of interact with what you have in the moment, but you don't need to worry about that too much right now. Now on the bottom right, we have different things. Mostly what I use is plots, sometimes files, so you can see where your files are and stuff like that. And then packages are something that I'm not going to talk about here, but you can have lots of different packages. The last thing is plots here. Let's look at a plot. So I'm going to go box n, and then box n2 equals, let's go box n to the power, of 2. So now box n is 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, and box n2 is all those numbers but squared. So let's see if I could plot that. Plot box n by box n2. It's going to take a second because I'm recording a lot of stuff, but there we go. We have our 5 data points where box n is our x, so 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9, and box n2 is our y variables, so 1, 4, 25, 36, and 81. And that's right here. So very quickly we could see that this is plotting, at least with this panel. Here is all your variables that you've been using or that you're saving. You're going to even remove these variables. So if I'm done with box 1, I could write remove box underscore 1. And now it's gone. Here's your script that you could save, and here is really just your working console is what we call it, and it's just when you're trying to navigate your information, you're trying to do quick computations or see what things are. So I can look at lots of different variables, or I can really investigate my own script. Cool. Lots more there, but I think that's the most general idea I can give you right now without actually talking in depth about what programming is. So stay tuned, and I'll get that video about what simple programming means very soon.